what inspired this? It was a year ago when, you know, we basically became like one vote shy of being able to have just people stay warm with some very well attended to and safe open fires down at camp. And I got the notion of this because it just struck me so odd that, you know, Prometheus, all he endured to give us the fire, and now we kind of wouldn't even let ourselves have it. It's more than fire, it's all technology is what represented here. You know, right down to a sleeping bag. I guess, you know, my understanding is that the law says you're fine using anything for recreation, but as soon as you use it for the purpose of living, then that's what makes it particularly illegal on the streets. The story of Prometheus, if you don't know, he basically was the creator of mankind according to the Greek mythology. He made us all out of clay and loved us and gave us the gift of foresight. But Zeus wouldn't let him have fire to keep him warm because Zeus had this old grudge, I guess. Prometheus kind of tricked him when they were trying to figure out how the whole ritual feast and sacrifice offerings were going to work out. And Prometheus like made this one half like looked really super good, put all the good stuff on top, but then it was just all the bones and stuff underneath. And then so Zeus was like, I want that one. He's like, oh, so he holds a grudge, and yeah, kind of puts the nix on the whole fire thing for the humans. But Prometheus steals it nonetheless and gets tormented by having these raptors come and peck at his liver every day. And if that wasn't bad enough, well, the liver grows back at night just so he can go through the whole process again the next day, etc., etc., etc. And with that being said, let's just go on and start this show. We're going to start out with some very special friends of mine who we wrote a song together, and it just seemed somehow appropriate to you know, get the sound dialed in and get y'all warmed up for the show. So I would like to invite my good friends Isabel and Reed up to here. We wrote this song together in class. It was a great... I think one thing that's really appropriate about this is that it illustrates the whole collaborative nature of what can happen in art and music when it's like at its most profound. Reed just came to class one day with a chord progression. He'd never done that before, so I was like, oh wow. And by the time Isabel showed up for her lesson, we had already been working on it. She never really played drums before, but she just went back there and laid down a groove, and we ended up writing the lyrics and finishing the song over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's based on a scene from the Hunger Games. This is called Flowers for Rue. Now they took all my protection from the naked to the sky. It's a question of survival, a complication to some laws allow. It's gonna take a trial revival, so we stand in provocation for an answer now. There the council stands before us, looking down from among their pillars on high. Shake their head and ignore us. Still the temperature is falling like the rain from the sky. So cold. I'm getting so old to be sleeping outside. Not after a long, long night. Took away protection from a naked winter sky. Naked winter sky. Naked winter sky. Naked winter sky. Naked winter sky.
did occur in many ages past, whence brave Prometheus of old did suffer greatly for that gift beyond price, which he did bestow upon to mortal creatures such as yourselves and yourself, which he did love and he did cherish.
But what in the world did he ever do to deserve that?
Forsooth, is a terrible penance indeed, unto which brave Prometheus obligated himself, enacted for naught but a simple spark, taken without leave and stolen away from King Zeus's private chambers, and hence gifted to all of humanity, so that they may forever rejoice in its unrivaled benefit to the heating of homes and the cooking of food. Attend well, mortal, and remember keenly the tale which is to follow, when next you find yourself graced by the magic and the miracle to which we have giveth the name fire. Verily, as I have engraved upon my own records in the halls of Olympus, this story of far-reaching consequence did begin in the house of Iapetus, son of creation herself, and the proud father of Atlas, whose brothers were Minucius, Epithamus, and Prometheus.
Father, they're not dolls.
Oh, do not burden thy tongue with weak defense. Thou art the son of a Titan. A Titan! How I have labored at great length, and even greater expense, that I would offer unto thee and thy brethren the very elements of creation for your own livelihood and handiwork. Here do I grant you access to this solid and unyielding earth, and all its bounty as your holding, and also the running waters, which nourish all living things in that same venue. And what return is gained for my unending efforts? I now fear to be renowned not by the merits of my own accomplishments, but for the misguided diversions of my offshoot, my own flesh and blood, who goes off and mixes this same earth and water into some magic clay, for which to mold into his own precious little playthings.
Father, I'm an artist, and this red clay is not mixed with earth and simple water, but of the sublime essence of my tears.
Strapping youth. These humans, if you call them, upon greater inspection do I find to be most bothersome. They are impetuous and flawed. Thou art descended from gods, Prometheus.
Father!
Thou wilt devise a path more lofty and virtuous than all of these idle distractions, and I will not have it in my domain.
Father, what have you done?
Silence! I will not have a word of it. Thy brother Atlas bears the very heavens upon his shoulders, and yet thou wouldst opt to sit at home and play games? 'Tis a grave misfortune that I would be fated to hold such claim for such folly in my own bloodline, that I would be remarked as thy sire in view of this fledgling and irritant species. But for even more than mine own regard do I find this worrisome. For the sake of all our affairs, for verily did I misspeak when I declared these creatures to be idle. Truly, as they are with the faculties thou hast imparted them, I would caution you the restraint of Vulcan, my boy, for thou art playing with fire. Mark my words, Prometheus. These little dolls of thine are dangerous.
Dolls.
I will not suffer them in my house.
I mean, how could you not love them? Just look at them. They're so unique. So cute and quirky. And not a single one like unto the other. I have shared with them the attribute of foresight, which is my purview, and thus, alone amongst all mortal creation, they are aware of their ultimate journey, their inevitable release from this world. Though they know neither the when nor the where, and yet, in the face of this eventual demise, these mortal beings persevere, and they strive for a greatness that would rival Olympus itself. For though their bodies begin to decay and go back to the ground that begat them, eternal are they by the inheritance of those that follow. The limitless legacy of their imagination, their own creations that they all make. Truly, they are each their own father's children, and so on and so forth, ad infinitum. Perhaps my father, Hypnotus, speaks not so errantly when he does caution against their subtle endeavor. For they are indeed a clever species. Unlike any of the other beasts, they are able to indulge in the majesty of the heavens and the finery of introspection, and accordingly the arts, and of music. By Asia, who is my mother, is there no other greater tribute to offer unto the pantheon of the gods themselves than this fluid alchemy which issues forth directly from the song of their hearts, whether by flute or string or voice? Unfailingly, by their melody and their verse, they do unwittingly capture the hearts of my fellow immortals.
Be it hereby etched upon the sacred book of Hermes, Mercurius, Trimestigus, the 3 times great ruler of the 3 worlds, scribe of the gods, keeper of the books of life, that it be resolved on this day in plain view and witness of all attending gods and goddesses of this ruling pantheon, that from here on and henceforth all subsequent general council assemblies will by mutual agreement now be congregated at the 7th hour of Athena's day. And that hereupon a new select subcommittee, hereby designated as General Steering Spokes Forum, will continue to gather at the present time of 7th hour Poseidon's Day, with each participant being fully informed and reminded that all such deliberation and consideration and discussion, etc., at such time be recorded as non-binding and merely advisory in nature. Verily then, do I now propose that this meeting be rightly and fully adjudicated as having achieved the final completion of fullness of being, yada, 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 etc., that we may finally determine ourselves to adjourn. Each one of us to our own intrigue and dominion and opera, etc., as this convocation of the associated great Olympians on this day, the 11th day of Aphrodite's month, in the absence of any summary objection, be declared now by the direct mandate of the general and undisputed consensus to be now closed.
Lord Zeus! I implore thee grant but a moment of thine audience.
Oh, by Kronos! Are you kidding me? Can we not now retire to our own affairs?
All Father, I beseech thy consideration on a matter of dire import.
And as with scarce effort do I divine thy intention, young one, that thou wouldst speak as proxy for thine own meager creation, this arrogant and erratic humanity, who by your patronage are now hereby woven into the greater tapestry of our work. Speak, son of a Titan, what wouldst thou have us consider unto their behalf?
Lord Zeus, the people are freezing. The winds of winter have arrived, and they have no aegis for which to countermand such a bitter chill, whose severity is rendered all the more assaulting come nighttime, whence brave Apollo rides his benevolent chariot beneath the world, so that he might issue forth once again from his morning position to the east, and in doing so, bear some small token sponsorship to the warmth of the beings. But in time, against the snow that blows and bites, and the rain that sobs both shirt and skin, even as to purge the very last refuges of warmth from the very deep of mortal flesh and bone's marrow. And yea, by some consequence, some perish of this.
Athena, you wish to speak?
This is very troubling to me, because as it has been pointed out, these humans are undeveloped as yet. They lack skills in negotiation. They're quarrelsome. Often they lack empathy. I fear that if they are given fire, it will only be a matter of time before they turn it to fashioning implements of war that will rain mass destruction upon each other. And of course, their rulers, for profit and greed, will take advantage of their poverty. And if they are under threat of lack of shelter or cold, they will surely join unjust wars to go fight them. And those who survive will return home to cold and hunger once more. I don't know. I fear for their suffering either way. But is it our job to do anything about it? What?
Okay, I'm going to make a stack here. We're going to go Hades, Poseidon, and Demeter.
And Hades, Lord of the underworld, why do you speak of warmth and dryness? What will you speak of next, lad? Happiness, love, such silly things as that? When I was a young man and I complained about hunger and suffering and disease, they slapped me and told me to stop my whining. You should do the same thing with these clay toys of yours.
Poseidon, let's say it you.
What is Prometheus asking for? Fire? What if the humans that he wants to have this fire cannot control it? Then before the waters of Poseidon to extinguish their fire?
Demeter.
Born from earth, they are of the harvest. I dreamed of them. Not only wily and clever, but full of desire for power and control. They will desire to control not only our fire, but each other and even the earth. First, they will take away each other's right to harvest what grows freely in the fields. Then they will take away the right to gather what the farmer drops. Then they will forbid people to shelter themselves in the harvest of both field and forest. In the fullness of time, they will even ban each other from covering themselves. This is sad. To guard against the chill of night. Even the sack, when named for sleep, cannot shelter them, lest they be cruelly punished. Do you create them only to torture them? It goes too far. It is true some who respect the gifts that sustain life and seek to share them, yet without even the freedom to sleep where they fall, no amount of huts will ever help.
And why is this of my concern? I hold no allegiance for these who are far my lessers, and who profess no fealty to me. Nay, and do I also bear grudge in addition? For remember thee not, Prometheus, thy trickery of old, whence first we determined the ritual feast, and the rightful apportioning of due offerings thereof? As I stand before this council, I do recall this most unpleasant history. Wherefore by thine own sleight didst thou feign, as true, honest, and fair treaty, this lottery by which I had first auction of thy shrewd dividend of slaughtered geese, which, having been burnt and rent in half, was a dividend misconstrued and falsely presented. Tricked as I was, I did then decide that this was my share, the one upon which thou hadst prepared a dressing richly adorned with fats and succulents, which served as but veneer to obscure that same share, which was soon but too late revealed to be naught but bone and sinew, henceforth to be offered up unto mine effigy, whilst by default the opposing and far more generous mass would then be dedicated unto the feast of man, therefore dedicating unto those who are your hobby and distraction, the most choice, the most favored of cuts, and the most delicate. Dost thou think I forget? I do not. I do not relent. I will not allow your humans the protection of my fire.
No, to deny them flame is to deny them life, my lord. And though it be the crude vehicle of my own play that provides the device of their very essence, their blood, and their substance, all of which I have issued, it is your estate which holds claim to that spark of sentience by which they have become truly self-aware. This impetus by which they are compelled to create and direct their own initiative. This is unarguably an attribute of your purview, my liege. Please, do not abdicate your charge. Don't abandon your heritage.
Shall I suffer such affront? Dare thee assign to me such imperfection to my charge? Depart this council, upstart. Give thy own offering and supplication that I might not deign to hold thee accountable for thy transgression in this defeat.
Lord Zeus, will you then not proffer even the slightest relief to these vulnerable actors who are under your care? Will you be so callous as to sit by idly while they endure such torment?
Their torment is written into their very existence, Prometheus, and thou art he who hath brought them to this burden. And thusly is their burden committed unto thou, solely unto thou, and thou alone amongst immortals, and none other. And thus will thee bear responsibly the outcome of all their affairs, even as if they were your own. Thou speakest of slight relief, child, yet with indication to that sacred flame which is indeed my most profound and brave of elements, bountiful in charity, yet equally as ravenous. Were thy progeny to behold such a force unguided, would we then risk catastrophe of no small significance?
But, my liege, I was your advocate upon your greatest charge. Even sitting here, your very own Olympians we did overthrow and suppress the Titans, who were my forebears.
Enough! I will have no more of it. Those whom thou loveth so much are scant worthy of the providence of mine heart, nor can they be trusted with it. Now be gone, lest the restraint of my agitation be tested beyond its endurance.
Then know thee well, Lord Zeus, that this is not finished.
Out!
It springs forth from aeons of evolution, when as gelatinous anemones we willed ourselves appendages and struggled out of the ocean's long highway. Sing with that voice, the trumpeted triumphant reverberation of the sacred yes that exulted at the first leap from the canopy of trees. Tread along the horizon's lip. Sing with that voice that will shatter the black marble halls of those whom we have called gods, and steal the secret of fire they have sealed within the gilded altars of our own being. No more homelessness, no more caste system, no more darkness at noon.
We sing the tune of the song that was once sung around a campfire. Simply a song of survival sung till the embers burst, rise up and enter. The eyes of the gods become stars in the sky, shining through time, so wherever you are, you can remember that fire keeps us alive. Ignited by the primordial spark that started the revolution as animal begat human. Now, there are secrets of the gods, and there are needs of the heart, and there's a lighter that I'm holding, and if this is a power that I have stolen, it is my weapon, but it is also my gift, used to uplift us into all of this. So take a look around, listen to the echoes of sound, sung in the hum of the buzz of the lights above us. That's the same song sung by that campfire. That's the same song that the fire dances to. And my soul knows this is true through the warmth from the core of this earth. Since fire gave birth to heat, and heat cooks food, and fire begat the stove, and stoves go in homes. So when your bones are cold, look up at the stars and know it all starts at the fire. Fire keeps us alive, so let the people have fire.
So let the people have fire, a fire to ignite the torches in our hearts,
A fire to warm those cold hands in those dark parks.
a fire to persevere this long winter's night.
comfort of those beings which I have designed. Hermes. Yeah, Hermes. Hey, Hermes, come on. 10. Come here.
Prometheus, what thou have of me?
Oh, great Hermes, Mercurius, Trismegistus? Yeah, Trismegistus. A ruler of the three worlds, keeper of the great books of life, scribe of the gods. Sponsor me in this endeavor. Take this and deliver it to those beings that I have created down on earth. The ones with the 2 legs and the opposable thumbs and the corpus callosum with which they balance their own endeavor and their surroundings, just like we judge them ever so dutifully. And deliver this bounty to them so that they may benefit from its warmth and succor.
Prometheus, is that not the flame of Zeus and of Zeus alone?
Yeah.
I don't like to get involved in these sorts of things.
Well then don't. Just indulge in the proclivities of a child of that once great ancient race which preceded thee. And thou art not counsel to your office, but rather thou art to deliver graceful heraldry and news. And so I ask thee with conviction, go forth, deliver this bounty, and forever be known as the bringer of good news.
Well, if you're gonna put it that way, I like the sound of that. Let the people have fun!
Bring it down. Bring it down. I saw you riding across the meadow on a horse with silver hair. Bring it down. I watched you for a while, I never felt so down. Across the ocean blue, I have a little time, and I'll to you. Bring it down. Mountain, and I've finally touched the flame. Bring it down. I know I might get around, but girl, I'm glad. Tell me the sign.
desired, flaunting proclamation of thy Lord and council?
I have done what I have done, and I stand by it.
Then verily will thou account for it. And know thee well, that Zeus hath written priorly an account of all that by which thou shalt be sanctioned in event of this sacrilegious thievery that thou hast committed. I now bind thee to this calling for the duration of forever and a day, and each day will find thee well to entertain great raptors, who will visit upon thee to devour by sequence of small portion your liver, which upon nightfall, when these dire birds retreat, will reverse his misfortune and be replenished to wellness, but for the purpose to the next day's avian feast.
Am I not greater than this flesh? I mean, I am immortal, as are you. Surely I can much easily escape such a terrible, lowly punishment.
And verily would it be so, in dearth of this adjacent command of the Lord of earth in relation to thy sentence. By decree of his royal majesty and supreme grace, henceforth wilt thee understand with thine entire fullness of being this corporeal pain that is exclusive to those creatures of earth that thou hast shaped more cunningly than thou hast realized. Among their fellow animals who remain lacking thy gift of foresight, their unique torture plays out all the greater in anticipation of their inevitable destruction yet to bear. So that for this entire durance between the violent events themselves, will they and thee by greater magnitude find yourselves driven to madness. By supreme dictate, thou wilt suffer an extreme similar to that will render your own private genesis mad with self-reflection.
As I have proclaimed before, I will hold responsible for the path which I have set. And as avatar of the things that I have created, I will take responsibility for their glory and for the warmth that I have provided. For is it not the very nature of a flame to spread and consume everything in its path? Surely, even now, my gift to humanity has reached all corners of the globe.
You speak truly, Prometheus. But to counterbalance your blasphemous crime, it is now for the gods themselves to administer this fire. For if you have given in this flame a path to truth by reason, so shall our divine government proclaim, in tones of angelic custody and languages of esoteric dissemblance, a yoke in the rule of nonsense. As thou hast given these cunning creatures a principle in Zeus's own paternal flame, so shall that father and all those who partake in his authority speak with the tongue of the law, which shall temper man's intelligence with the rule and weight of a null opinion. And as fire warms the limbs, so shall this law leave the children of Prometheus cold. It shall build a tower of gibberish, so that your children will violate the law in the crossing of a road, in taking a rest upon some low-built wall, or even in the mere possession of a blanket. Even a blanket, Prometheus,
What's wrong with you?
will be censored in punishment for humanity's attempt to warm themselves at the fire of the gods. Your insurgency and their rebellion has brought us to bring upon this earth a tyranny of violent idiocy. But, lest you think me cruel, my dear cousin, I will depart by leaving your children a gift, fashioned in clay in the same form as themselves. Behold, the woman Pandora, who, in the same tradition of charity of which you are our finest exemplar, brings to humanity her own peculiar gifts.
Oh, Santa baby, Merry Solstice to you. Ho, 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 for Pandora, love XXO, Zeus. Doesn't really seem like a whole but, I'm hoping it's that cute wooden horse. It's right as air. What could it be? I hope, oh, it might be leather. It's wings. I'm sure it's wings. I always wanted to fly. It snows. There's a lot of things in here. Oh, was. I'll share that. I'll share that. Share. Two brains. You know those trojans? Well, let's get on with it. There's a present. Oh! No! Disease! That will not help me at all. We cannot have this. We do not have universal care. An atrocity. Oh, but we do have Occupy medical costs at the park officer. 12 to 4 on Sunday, that's tomorrow. We have free medical care, doctors, nurses, and the whooping cough. Don't get that shit because it's a bad disease. I don't want that one. Thanks a lot. You know, brown paper packages tied up with ribbon. Violence. This is so bad! Please decline. Retribution and jails. And war. No, we don't need this. We do not need war. We need education. Out! This one looks oh, no. People need houses. We'll have corrupt money changers. What about jobs? You need to eat. You need clothes. Pretty wrapping. No. We're going down to it. This is a big one. Pain and suffering. No. Cold. Yeah, we're at the fire. Cold, hunger, no place to sleep, pain and suffering. Zeus! Good Lord, what were you thinking? Might be because we need it now that this things are loose. There's the water. I don't know. When it goes wrong, I think on this task. Occupy